Bangui, Central African Republic, May 9th, 2023. The man speaking here, in broken French, is Vitaly Perfilev, the head of Wagner's Russian mercenaries in the country. His men have been accused of committing acts of violence and extortion against shopkeepers in Bangui, but he says none of that is true.
Toutes les opérations sont menées conjointement avec la police, soit avec la gendarmerie. Les instructeurs russes jamais ils travaillent tout seuls.
Really, Le Monde, with Dossier Centre and CAPA Presse, has examined and verified some 20 internal Wagner documents obtained by the Die Welt newspaper. These unpublished files, written by the mercenaries themselves, show the hidden side of their presence in the country since 2017. They reveal Wagner's massive military deployment in the Central African Republic, and also how they loot and torture. In 2017, the Central African government and Russia signed an agreement to combat armed rebels in the north of the country. The official line is that civilian and military instructors have been deployed in the country. They are expected to train local soldiers and police and ensure the protection of the Central African president, Faustin-Archange Touadéra. In reality, though, they are Wagner mercenaries, and their actual activities are quite different. Activity reports, written between September 2019 and February 2021, offer an unprecedented insight into the daily lives of Wagner employees in the Central African Republic, far from the propaganda broadcast on the internet and on Russian television. This document, for example, was written in February 2021, and it lists various actions carried out by Wagner divisions.
We sometimes fall into small ambushes, with no casualties on our side.
Further down, the document reports looting carried out by another Wagner division on the secondary residence of the then Prime Minister of the Central African Republic, Firmin Gribada.
They took all the household appliances and some of the furniture from the Prime Minister's secondary residence. They took the television, the hi-fi system was sent to Syria, and a treadmill to Libya. The television set was returned.
Other reports confirm that mercenaries are regularly left to their own devices without discipline or command. In August 2019, near the town of Alindao, Alexandrovich P. and Evgeny B. discovered 93-degree medical alcohol in a local pharmacy. For several weeks, the two men decided to drink it by diluting it with water.
The employees used only this, diluted with water, 50 millimeters alcohol to 50 millimeters water.
This would prove fatal. They died on September 5th and September 7th, 2019. But Wagner mercenaries are not content with only looting and drinking. At a UN Security Council meeting on February 21st, 2019, Russian instructors were accused of torture in the Central African Republic.
We're deeply disturbed by reports of torture performed by Central African troops and Russian trainers in Bambari.
Russia's representative denied the claim.
Слишком увлеклись и решили заняться инсинуациями и распространениями фейковых новостей прямо в Совете Безопасности. Эта ситуация весьма четко показывает, какие методы наши западные партнеры используют в ЦАР.
But Wagner's internal documents show a different reality. 5 days after the UN meeting, this report, addressed to the head of the group's security department, was written. On the Wagner units in Bambari, in the center of the country, the author of the text reports that
2 local Central African residents were detained after the battle on suspicion of belonging to the Seleka rebel group.
Then
200, one of the Central African residents.
200 is the Russian army's code for a dead person. The report's author details the fate of the second person.
During the interrogation of one of the rebels, torture was used, and a phalange on the right hand was amputated.
Le Monde obtains photos of the man's injury, taken shortly after it was sustained. Despite Russia's public claims, torture was in fact used by the Russian instructors, and those at the top were informed of the acts. Wagner's presence in the Central African Republic is first and foremost a military one. In just a few years, the group's war potential has been massively deployed across the Central African Republic. This is seen in 7 spreadsheets drawn up between 2018 and 2021. In July 2018, shortly after their arrival, the group had only 210 mercenaries spread over 7 bases across the country. 3 years later, in September 2021, the group had 47 bases and some 1,500 mercenaries divided into some 20 divisions. Each division received vehicles ranging from simple pickup trucks to armoured vehicles. The same car model can be found in satellite images taken of several of the group's bases, like here on the De Gaulle base, or here at the Bouts base. Are they really just instructors? On May 28, 2021, Russia's deputy ambassador to the UN stated that the instructors sent by the country were unarmed.
I'm absolutely sure that they are not armed because they are not supposed to be armed, as far as I understand.
Yet records show the opposite to be true. This chart, dated March 2021, 2 months before the Russian ambassador spoke, lists the weapons distributed to the instructors. These include over 1,000 Kalashnikovs, with which mercenaries have regularly been spotted in the Central African Republic, and 80 heavy machine guns like this one. The mercenaries also have 85 rocket launchers, 20 mortars, and 2 anti-tank missile launchers. Weapons that violate the embargo imposed by the UN from 2013. The very identity of the mercenaries deployed leaves little doubt as to their mission in the country. This document lists the nom de guerre of the Central African base commanders: proletarian, atheist, or caliph. We were able to associate these names with their true identities. One of them is Lotus, really called Anton Elizarov. The Russian man is a Wagner veteran who was active in Ukraine, Syria, and Libya, and in the Central African Republic. Internal documents show his presence recorded in August and September 2021. During this period, he commanded the Wagner base in Bombari along with 32 mercenaries. But like other soldiers, after Russia decided to invade Ukraine in February 2022, his assignment changed once again. He commanded the mercenaries at the Battle of Soledar in eastern Ukraine. Wagner's own boss, Yevgeny Prigozhin, appeared at his side on several occasions, like here in May 2023. And Elizarov is not the only Wagner officer to have commanded in both the Central African Republic and Ukraine. The officer known as Zombie is really called Boris Nijevninok. A veteran of the Russian army, he took part in the war in the Donbass in 2014. After being deployed to the Central African Republic, he was recalled to Ukraine, where he was interviewed by Russian television in February 2023. And Dober, the commander of a base near Bangui in October 2021, was honoured by Wagner in a propaganda video in 2023 for his alleged role in the Battle of Bakhmut. These 3 men, Lotus, Zombie, and Dober, are among the 350 mercenaries recalled to Ukraine by the group. According to a French military source, around 1,400 of the mercenaries were to be deployed in the Central African Republic by May 2023.